Welcome back, class, to the next chapter of Polity Lakshmikant, Fundamental Rights. So, fundamental rights are included in the part 3rd of Indian Constitution, and the articles are 12 to 35. Fundamental rights are inspired from the Constitution of USA, which is known as in USA or Bill of Rights. And fundamental rights are the fundamental of all round development in in the sense of material, intellectual, moral, and spiritual. And fundamental rights or part 3rd of constitution is described as the Magna Carta of India, means the great charter of fundamental rights, which are provided to individuals. They are justiciable in nature and guaranteed to all subjected to reasonable restrictions. The fundamental rights are ideal of political democracy, and they are the limitations on the tyranny of executive and arbitrary laws of legislature, and the harmony between fundamental rights and directive principle of state policy, which are in the part 4th of the constitution. The harmony between both these is a part of basic structure of constitution. We will later discuss the DPSP in further classes. So, in the fundamental rights, some laws or some provisions are negative in character and some are positive in character. They are not permanent, means they can be amended by a parliament, and they are not absolute. Not absolute means they are not complete but qualified. They are subject to reasonable restrictions. So let's discuss the articles one by one. The first article in the fundamental rights is Article 12. In the Article 12, the fundamental rights define the definition of state, means Article 12 has defined the term state, which includes government and Parliament of India, government and state legislature, all local authorities, that is municipalities, panchayat, district boards, improvement trust, etc., and all other authorities, that is statutory or non-statutory authorities like LIC, ONGC, SAIL, etc. And according to the Supreme Court, even a private body or an agency working as an instrument of state falls within the meaning of state under Article 12. So first we see the all government bodies are described in the definition of state, but the Supreme Court says that even a private body or agency which is working as an instrument of state falls within the meaning of Article 12. Now let's talk about Article 13. Article 13 says all laws that are inconsistent with or in derogation of any fundamental right shall be void. Means we know the fundamental rights are into force from the commencement of the constitution, that is 26th January 1950. So this Article 13 says that all the laws which are before this date of the commencement are will be void if they are against the fundamental rights. Means all laws that are inconsistent with or in derogation of fundamental rights, they shall be void. And in this statement, the term laws defines some provisions that are uh, so the article 13 says any law before the commencement of constitution or fundamental rights, if the laws are invalid or inconsistent or against with the fundamental rights, they will be void. And after the commencement of fundamental rights means post period, the court says that any state cannot make any law which are inconsistent or against the fundamental rights. They will also will be declared void. So in this term, the law which are which are bring as by order, by laws, by rule, or by regulation or any notification, if by through these methods the law came which are against fundamental rights, they will also can be declared as void. And article 13 provides for the judicial review, means supreme court, which is the guarantor or protector of fundamental rights, will check out the provision or the law which is against the fundamental rights or not. And if it is against the fundamental rights, it will be void. And this judicial review will come in article 13. And article 13 also says that it does not include constitutional amendment as a law and cannot be challenged. Means in Keshwanand Bharti case 1973, in Keshwanand Bharti case 1973, Supreme Court says that the constitutional amendment can be challenged on the ground that it violates a fundamental right that forms the basic structure of constitution and hence can be declared as void if it violates the fundamental right. Otherwise, if the fundamental right is amended under article 368, it will not come into the article 13. So the next article is article 14 or article 14 to 18, which is referred as right to equality. Means you will see the right to equality laws from article 14 to 18. So the article 14 is equality before law, which is the British notion, and equal protection of law, which is taken from the American concept. So article 14 says that the state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. So here we have two terms, equality before law and equal protection of law. So equality before law is taken from the British, means it is the British origin, and it says that any special privilege, means absence of any special privilege in favor of any person, there will be no special privilege to any person, and equal subjection of all persons to ordinary law of land administered by ordinary laws, and no person is above the law. And it is the negative concept, it prohibits the special treatment, and it is one of the aspects which is diced by Professor Dicey. The next term is equal protection of law, which is the US origin, and it is the positive concept, means equality of treatment under equal circumstances, both in privileges conferred and liabilities imposed by the laws, and similar application of same laws to all persons who are similarly situated, and like should be treated alike without any discrimination. So here we discuss that no man can be punished except for breach of law. Everyone is equal before law. Constitution is the result of rights of individual, rather than constitution being source of individual rights. First and second element are applicable to Indian Constitution, and Supreme Court held rule of law is the basic feature and cannot be amendment. Means Parliament cannot amend this article, and there are some exceptions, means exceptions to equality, like president of India and governors and foreign sovereigns and diplomats and UNO and its agencies, they have some preferences. And Article 31C says that the Supreme Court held that where Article 31C comes in, Article 14 goes out. Means what is Article 31C? Article 31C provides that the laws made by state for implementing the directive principles contained in clause B, 39B or 39C cannot be challenged on the ground that they are violative of Article 14. And some exceptions are also Article 361A, which means no person liable for any civil or criminal proceedings in any court in respect of publication in news report of true report of any proceedings of parliament or state legislature. And Article 105 says no member of parliament shall be liable to any proceedings in any court in respect of anything said or any vote given by him in the parliament or any committee thereof. And Article 194 is also an exception to the equality, which says no member of legislature of a state shall be liable to any proceedings in any court in respect of anything said or any vote given by him in legislature or any committee thereof. So let's come to the next article, Article 15, which says prohibition of discrimination on certain grounds, that state shall not discriminate against any citizen on grounds of only of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. This provision prohibits discrimination both by state and private individual. Means state cannot discriminate, and you can also not discriminate any individual. So here are what kind of discrimination: access to shops, public restaurant, hotels, place of public entertainment, the use of well, tanks, bathing ghats, roads, and place of public resentment maintained or brutally or partly by state fund. There are some exceptions also. Means to this general rule of non-discrimination, state is permitted to make special provisions for women and children, for advancement of any socially and educationally backward classes of citizens, or for SCs, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, for advancement of any socially and educational backward classes of citizens, or for a scheduled caste or tribes, regarding their admission to educational institutions, including private educational institutions, were added or unadded by state except minority educational institution and for the advancement of any economically weaker sections of citizens. And here in the current news, we have the reservation for OBC in educational institutions, means the exception in Article 15C that 93rd Amendment Act enacted the Central Educational Institution Reservation in Admission Act 2006, which provides quota for 27% reservation for OBC in all central higher educational institutions, including IITs and IIM. And recent one is a reservation of educationally weaker sections in educational institutions. The exceptions in 15C was added by 103rd Amendment Act of 2019. Central government issued order in 2019 and provide 10% reservation to educationally weaker sections in admission to educational institutions. Now Article 16, equality of opportunity in public employment, means equality of opportunity for all citizens in matter of employment for or appointment to any office under the state. No citizens can be discriminated against or be ill eligible or for any employment or office under state on grounds of only race, religion, caste, sex, descent, place of birth or residence. There are also some exceptions. The exceptions are: Parliament can prescribe the residence as a condition for certain employment in a state or a union territory or a local authority or other authority. Second one, state can provide for the reservation of appointments or post in favor of any backward class that is not adequately represented in state services. Third one is a law can provide that incumbent of an office related to religious or denominational institution or a member of its governing body should be belong to particular religion or denomination, and now the state permitted to make a provision for reservation of up to 10% of appointment of post in favor of any economically weaker section of citizen. Article 17, abolition of untouchability, means Article 17 forbids untouchability in any form. Untouchability of offenses Act 1956, which was amended in 1976 and renamed as Protection of Civil Rights Act. The term untouchability not defined in constitution or in the act, and there are some untouchabilities provisions preventing any person from entering any place of public workshops, access to any shop, hotel or places of public entertainment, refusing to admit persons in hospital, educational institution or hostels, insulting a person belonging to scheduled caste on ground of untouchability, preaching untouchability directly or indirectly, refusing to sell goods and vendors services. There are punishments for them who discriminate on the basis of untouchability, and imprisonment up to 6 months or for 5 years up to 500 fines or both. Convicted person is disqualified for contesting election to parliament or state legislature. And this article does not cover any social boycott of few individual or their exclusion from religious services, etc. Available it It is available against private, individual, and constitutional obligation of state to take necessary action to ensure that this right is not violated. Article 18, abolition of titles. It prohibits state from conferring any title except a military or academic distinction. It prohibits a citizen of India from accepting any title from any foreign state. And in 1996, Supreme Court upheld the constitutional validity of national awards that are Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri. The Supreme Court ruled that these words do not amount to titles within the meaning of Article 13 that prohibits only hereditary title of nobility. Supreme Court also ruled that they should not be used as suffix or prefix to the names of awardees, otherwise they should be forfeit the awards. And no citizen or foreigner holding any office or of profit or trust under the state is to accept any present emolument or office from or under any foreign state without the consent of the president. Now, right to freedom from Article 19 to 22. Article 19 has 6 fundamental rights, and they are right. First one is right to freedom of speech and expression, then right to assemble peaceably and without arm, then right to form associations or unions or cooperative societies, then right to move freely throughout the territory of India, then right to reside and settle in any part of territory of India, then right to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade, or businesses. These 6 rights are protected against only state action. Protected against only state action, not private individual, and these are provided only to citizens, not for the foreigners. State can impose reasonable restrictions on these 6 rights solely on the grounds mentioned in Article 19 itself, and not on the other grounds. Originally, Article 19 had 7 rights. The 7th one is right to property, which was deleted by 44th Amendment Act 1978, and now it and the right to property, now it is added to Article 300A. So first one is right to freedom of speech and expression. Supreme Court held that freedom of speech contains the following rights. These are right to propagate one's view as well as views of others, freedom of views, one's views. Second one is freedom of press, freedom of commercial advertisement, freedom right against tapping of telephoning conservation, right to telecast. Right to telecast, that is government has no monopoly on electronic media. Right against Bandh, called a political party or organization. Right to know about government activities. Freedom of silence. Right against imposition of pre-censorship or a newspaper. And right to demonstration or picketing, but not right to strike. So state can impose reasonable restrictions on the basis of sovereignty and integrity of India, security of state, and friendly relations with foreign states, public order, decency, morality, contempt of court, defamation, and incitement to an offense. Next, Article 19(2) is right to freedom of assembly, right to assemble peaceably and without arms for all citizens, right to hold public meetings, demonstration and take-out processions only on public land and peacefully and unarmed, does not protect violent, disorderly, riotous assemblies or one that causes breach of public peace or involves arms, and does not include right to strike. And it has also reasonable restrictions on the basis of sovereignty and integrity of India and public order. Through this article, we can say section 144 of IPC, yes, CRPC 1973, that magistrate can restrain an assembly, meeting or procession in the risk of obstruction, annoyance or danger to human life, health or safety, or disturbance of public tranquility or right, or any problem. And section 141 of IPC, assembly of 5 or more persons becomes unlawful if the object to resist execution of any law or legal process, to forcibly occupy the property of some person, to commit any mischief or criminal trespass, to force someone to do illegal act, and to threaten government officials on existing exercises. Next one is freedom of association. All citizens have right to form association or unions or cooperative societies. Right to form means political parties, companies, partnership firms, societies, clubs, organizations, trade unions, or anybody of persons. And it includes right to continue with association. It includes negative right of not to form or join any association or union, and right to obtain recognition of association is not a fundamental right. It has also reasonable restrictions. They are sovereignty of India, integrity of India, public order, and morality. Supreme Court held that trade union, the term trade union used in this article 19.3, means trade union have no guaranteed right to effective bargaining and have no right to strike and have no right to declare lockout, hence can be controlled by appropriate industrial law. Next article, right of movement. Right of movement, article 19.4, and right of and freedom of movement and freedom of residence, article 19.5. So freedom of movement means right to move freely, state to state or within a state, and unity of state, promote national feeling. Restrictions are interest of general public, protection of interest of any scheduled tribe. And Supreme Court says movement of prostitute can be restricted on ground of public health and morals. And freedom of residence is right to reside and settle in any part of territory, intended to remove internal barriers within the country. And in many parts of country, tribals have permitted to regulate their property rights in accordance with their customary rules and regulations. And and the restrictions are interest of general public, protection of interest of any scheduled tribe, and right of residence and right of movement are complementary to each other, means they can move and can settle in any part of territory. The last one is article 19.6, freedom to form, freedom of profession. All citizens are given right to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade and business. Very wide meaning means all means of earning one's livelihood. State is empowered to prescribe professional and technical necessary for practicing any profession or carrying on any occupation, trade or business, and carry on by itself any trade, business, industry or service, whether to exclusion of citizens or otherwise. State is not required to justify its monopoly and does not include right to carry on a profession or business or a trade or occupation that is immoral or dangerous, and state can absolutely prohibit these or regulate them through licensing. So we have covered our articles from 14 to 19. We will discuss our remaining articles later. Thank you, class.